We are now going to take a look at the status bar of the M.1K2 router. The status bar is always present in the web browser page, except for when we are using tools like the channel matrix or the live log. The status bar displays the current device state and provides direct links to the device configuration. The status bar can be divided in 4 different parts. On the left side, we find the port status. Next to it, the clock status part, and on the right side, the device status part. On top of these, there's a link section part. Let's now take a look at the link section of the status bar. This section contains 4 different buttons. On the right side, we have a help button, which is a link to a pop-up which guides you to the online help of the M.1K2. Next to it, we have a contact button. This button will lead you to the information that were entered in the contact section of the device configuration. If your device runs in a setup with a lot of different users, this function may be really helpful. The first button on the left side shows the account name, and if you click on it, it will lead you to the permissions page. Next to it, we have a logout button, which allows you to log out from the current account and log in with a different one. Let's now take a look at the port status section. This section is composed by 3 different rows. The top row, which is labeled port, shows the port's ID from 1 to 16. If any of these ports is configured to be the clock reference for the work clock output, the ID is inverted. In this example, you can see that port number 9 is colored in green, and this means that it is the reference for the work clock output. The center row shows the state of each single port. The state can be off when there's no signal, for example in port number 1, 4, 5, 6, etc. When there's a green blinking light, like for example in port number 2, this means that the port is locked, so there's signal coming in, but this signal is not in sync with the current clock. When the port is lit with a green steady light, for example in port number 9, it means that the signal is coming in and this signal is in sync with the current clock setup. The lower row shows the redundancy settings and state of each single port. It displays the number of the redundant port and uses colors to indicate an error or warning. For example, in this case, we can see that port number 2 has a setting which shows that port 16 is the redundancy port of number 2. But if we go to port number 16, we see that there's no signal coming in. And underneath port number 16, port number 2 is lit in red. If you then move the mouse on top of each single port, a pop-up will give you details about the configuration of that port. If you then click on top of the port, this click will lead you to the port configuration page. The clock status section gives you a quick overview of the device's current clocking configuration and state. You can see a video LED or a work clock LED. These LEDs refer to the video and work clock input placed in the front panel of the M.1K2. The video and work clock input on the front panel have a switchable termination. If the M.1K2 is the last device on a bus, termination should be activated. If the termination LED is orange, the termination is active. The intern label refers to the built-in work clock generators of the M.1K2. If the color is inverted, it means that the work clock generator is connected to the work clock output. The polysync button displays the current polysync status. If you move the mouse on top of this clock status part, more information will be given to you in a pop-up. If you click on any part of this clock status part, you will be directed to the work clock configuration page. The last part of the status bar is showing the device status. We can find 4 LEDs showing the current state of the GPOs. The 2 PSU LEDs give you the current state of the power supplies, and the thermometer on the right side indicates the device temperature class, which can be green if it's normal, yellow if it's critical, red when it's too hot. If you move the mouse over the thermometer, the exact temperature is shown in a pop-up. If you click on the device status part, you will be led to the device configuration page.